everyone, it's Ms.Lisa from the Children's Room. You may also recognize me from Hadley School's after-school program, Icky Sticky Gross. I am here today to teach you how to make a really cool dough. It's not cloud dough, and it's not moon dough, and it's not Play-Doh. It's kind of Ms.Lisa's made up one. It's more of a cloud dough because we're using lotion, but it's also not your true cloud dough because we're not using cornstarch. We are using wheat flour because that's all I had around my house. But we are using lotion, which is the ingredient that we typically use to make cloud dough. I also had to improvise a few other ways, but this recipe came out incredible. I practiced it, my children have played with it. It's really stretchy and beautiful, and it's also a gorgeous color. Okay, so here we go. Here's what you'll need, and I'll put the ingredients in a separate comment below. You will need either wheat flour or cornstarch. If you use wheat flour, the texture will be a little rougher, and not rough, that you would notice. If you use cornstarch, it'll be super silky smooth. Then you'll need either lotion or hair conditioner. Again, this recipe is extremely interchangeable. Now, you do not have to have color. This can be completely colorless. But I'm using a cornstarch-based finger paint from a well-known brand. I'm also using a color that's very popular in my Icky Sticky class. Everyone loves teal or robin's egg blue. And then I have another option. Since it's spring and everyone's dyeing eggs, you could use a egg dyeing kit. You could use a tablet, or if you have any watercolors lying around, there's a palette. You could use a broken one. So I took the one from this one, which is red, and I took my mortar and pestle and I crushed it up. There you go. And so you can crush it, and I did a little bit so you can work it. And you can integrate this with your dry ingredient. So your dry ingredient is the wheat flour, and then you can mix it up. I'm going to do the liquid one because I think it's a little easier for most hands, but I could also do that after and show you a clip of that. Okay, the other ingredient I'm adding, which is 100% optional, is a scent. This is a birthday cake scent. And the reason why I add scent in my Icky Sticky class is more so the adults at the home can locate missing slimes or doughs, because sometimes if you put these doughs or slimes in the wrong place, it could stain or ruin a surface. So you have to be very careful where you put your slimes and Play-Dohs. But I recommend 100% allowing children to make these items. I think it's really important. It's a great sensory play. It's really good for input. It's science, and kids need to get filthy, dirty, disgusting, sticky, gross. That's how they learn. So do not let staining or for surface damage discourage you. Again, you can have rules of where these items are used. If you're really afraid, use them in the bathroom, in the bathtub, right before bath time. All right, so here we go. So we have this beautiful stretchy dough. We are going to make it now. All right, so I'm gonna put this, I have a little cupcake holder. I love these silicone cupcake holders. Okay, so here we go. I have my dough, and I have my little station here. I thought it was easier to show you on a station. I slipped up here. So we're gonna pour the half a cup of flour in here. These have pre-marked measures. And I'm going to take my lotion, which is a wet ingredient. I have a half a cup here and 1/4 cup lotion. So it's a 2-to-1 ratio. So for every amount of wet ingredient you use, you have to use double the amount of the dry ingredient. So you could make a large portion of this, or you could just make a very tiny amount. You could put a teaspoon of lotion and put 2 teaspoons of flour. That's how simple this recipe is. You don't have to have a lot of ingredients to make it. All right, then I have my paint. So I've already measured out the appropriate amount of liquid so I could add the paint. Okay, there we go. I put about a 1/4 silver dollar amount. You don't have to, you can do the color as vivid as you'd like, or as very, very light tint of the color. You don't have to add extreme amounts of color. So we're just gonna stir this really well. I'm doing this in real time too. I thought about speeding it up, but it's nice when you have the person in the video doing it at your speed. I often watch a lot of these crafting videos because I get a lot of my ideas from YouTube channels and modify them for my class. And some of them are just much too quick, and I don't like that. I like to see exactly how long it takes and what I'll need to make this. So I'll make a list for you after, and I'll put it in the comments of everything you will need for this. And again, all of these ingredients are interchangeable. If you don't have color, you don't need color. All right, so now I have this beautiful creamy thing. I'm gonna add my scent. I'm just gonna add a little drop, not too much. And you can add a little more, a little less. This is what they call no VOC scent, so it has no volatile organic compounds. See, you're learning science. And I tell my students all about these little compounds. You could use essential oils, but again, essential oils can be harmful on your skin if not used properly. So all of this is adult supervised play. I will say though, if you are an adult and you're watching this video, adding lavender makes this a really soothing, calming sensory dough that you can use because we're all kind of stressed right now. So you could do a chamomile one if you're not allergic to anything in the ragweed family. So you didn't think you'd get a science lesson with this, but you will. Okay, so now we're going to add the wet ingredient, which is the lotion, to our wheat flour. There we go, scrape it in. I don't like to waste, so we'll scrape every little amount. It's one thing that really bothers me when I watch cooking shows or these craft videos where they just dump it in and then there's a ton on the inside of the bowl or the packaging. I don't waste. Nothing goes in the garbage here. Okay, so now I'm going to get comfortable because we're going to be stirring for a minute. And you have to stir for a little while. You definitely have to incorporate your wet into the dry, and it will take a moment. One of the things that happens at my icky sticky classes, kids will say, Ms.Lisa, it's not coming together, it's not putty yet, or it's not dough yet. And I'll say, just be patient. It does take a while, and you have to use what we call elbow grease. So get those elbows working. I find that the larger craft sticks or spatulas or tongue depressors, as they call them in the medical field, work better. They're easier to handle, especially with small hands. However, for ease of use, sometimes popsicle sticks can be really fast because you can whip it up, but I'm using this because it's easier. Now, if you don't have a popsicle stick or a craft stick at home, that's fine. You can use a dull plastic knife, you can use a spoon, you can use anything to start. You can use your fingers. Honestly, for sensory play, if your child is under 8, they should be using their fingers to mix this because it really is important to get that sensory play in. So, and right now, since we're fairly sensory deprived, I say go for it, get dirty. All right, so just keep on stirring, and we're almost at a point where I can dump it out. All right, we're just gonna keep mixing it and stirring it and making sure that it's all incorporated into the recipe. Here we go. Just keep stirring it up and making sure that you have everything all incorporated in there. All right, here we go. All right, then once we have a decent texture, we're going to dump it onto our plate. And this is where it's nice to have a little standby wheat flour or cornstarch, depending on what you're using for your dry ingredient, because you may need to add some to it, okay? Because you want to make sure that it's not too sticky when you dump it out. It's just like making bread dough. Sometimes you have to add flour to your bread dough. So I'm going to go grab some more flour. Hold on. I usually keep it in a little thing over here. Okay, here we go. When I was doing my practice round, I left it out. Okay. All right, so there we go. Let's just do a little bit more. I don't want it to be too sticky. There we go. Like a human KitchenAid mixer. All right, so there we go. Got it right here. Scrape it out. Now, when you're making bread or pizza dough or something, you usually add flour to your work surface. Move this out of the way. And you would do the same for this. Usually when I'm at my class, I'll take a piece of wax paper, or I'll take a piece of plastic and I'll just put this out for my students, and I'll make a little dough. And there we have it. My hands are a little sticky. Put a little bit more dough on to remove any excess. Shake it off. And there you have it. Homemade, gorgeous cloud dough. This is a fun little gift to make. If you want to make your friend a fun little easy, cute gift, you can make different colors. You could put them in little plastic cupcake holders. You could put them in jars. Now, storage wise, this is not made with anything that goes bad. I mean, flour obviously won't last a long time, but the rest of the ingredients in this are not perishable. So you could keep it in a Ziploc bag and play with it. Make sure you wash your hands before and after playing with it. But you could store in the fridge if you really are afraid it'll go bad, but it really won't go bad. There's nothing perishable in this. So I hope you enjoyed this craft. I will be posting all of the ingredients, and the ingredients you can swap out in the comments. Again, it really is a 2-ingredient recipe if you do not include the food coloring, paint, or the scent. Well, I hope you have a wonderful evening and have fun with your craft. Bye.